Instruments to gain prosperity, magic money, possession rituals, and prediction of lottery numbers. There are several ways in which prosperity can be gained through these cults, and presenting offerings in the temple is one of them that has already been discussed earlier. In this section, I will focus on magic money and possession rituals. And in the next section, I will discuss prediction of lottery numbers. Magic money is one instrument by which devotees seek to gain prosperity. They put these magic banknotes in their wallets, recite some verses, and hope that they will gain prosperity through them, and that they will make these banknotes will make their money multiply in a miraculous way. I did not see these banknotes in 2008 when I was in Burma, but when I returned in 2013, they were distributed at some temples. After that year, they became more and more common in 2014, 2015, 2016, etc. Most of these magic banknotes are linked to the cult of the Buddhist esoteric master Bo-Mingyang. But some are related to the cult of the guardians of the treasure trove. Similar banknotes appeared and became widespread in Thailand starting in the 1990s. They are the most visible and concrete manifestation of a fusion of religion and economy, Buddhism and capitalism. In the novel cults that emphasize prosperity and success in business, a new form of possession rituals has evolved, which is often wild and uncontrolled. These rituals were transformed versions of earlier rituals from the traditional spirit cult of the 37 lords. A new pantheon evolved, guardians of the treasure trove, and imaginary derived mainly from exorcism related to the guardians of the treasure trove, Thai. In contrast to the traditional cult, the 37 lords, that is regarded as voluntary or positive possession, the cult of the guardians of the treasure trove keeps many of the features of so-called involuntary or negative possession as an intrinsic and essential part, even though the possession rituals are regarded as voluntary possession. The possessed often behave as they were in agony, tormented, and in pain. In Burma, I have observed similar behavior during exorcism seances. Such exorcism rituals are understood to be healing rituals. And the novel performative possession rituals share their focus on efficacy. But the aim of the possession rituals is mainly to acquire prosperity and wealth, but also to improve health. The novel cults of the guardians of the treasure trove are perceived to be closer to Buddhist values and morality than the traditional spirit cult of the 37 lords, which is frequently accorded low status by urban Buddhists. In contrast to the cult of the 37 lords, consumption of alcohol is strictly prohibited in the novel cults, and instead milk is used, because that's also something that the Naga prefer to drink. In contrast to the cult of the 37 lords, the possession rituals are performed on pagoda grounds, that is, in Buddhist-defined spaces. Urban Buddhist laypeople and monks tend to view the cult of the 37 lords as a very antithesis of what they perceive as Theravada Buddhism. And the cult is associated with unrestrained greed and the transgression of Buddhist precepts. In that way, the novel cults also reinforce a Buddhist identity for the devotees, a Buddhist identity that is more socially acknowledged than what is the case with the traditional cult of the 37 lords. The treasure trove palaces, the Tainan, are temples that are recent innovations and are situated in pagodas in villages outside Mandalay. These temples are thus situated within Buddhist-defined spaces. They are all furnished with a dance floor where possession dances are performed, statues of some of the spirits by which devotees become possessed, and in front of which offerings are made, and a traditional Burmese orchestra. These temples were built quite recently, usually in connection with renovation of pagodas from the early 1990s until today. Before performing possession dances, the pilgrims usually enter the pagoda to pay obeisance to the Buddha. Thereafter, they go to the temple of the guardians of the treasure trove to make a wish and a vow. Some offer a tray of bananas and coconuts, called kadopoe in Burmese, before an image of Nagamedo, as well as some banknotes and some offerings. A functionary in the temple may recite a formalized wish for them, or they make a wish themselves, while putting their hands onto the statue and then tap themselves on their face and then on their hair to transfer the efficacious power. Some pilgrims get possessed while performing this ritual and fall down onto the floor and slither about like snakes. Some hold their wallets or their business cards in front of the statue to have them blessed by Nagamedo, the serpent mother. The possession rituals may appear as a kind of exorcism, but they are nevertheless regarded as voluntary possession, putting themselves to the disposal of the spirit to be used as their bodily vessels is part of their contractual deal. The spirits are said to enjoy themselves when they can possess human beings. Although the pilgrims become possessed by a variety of spirits, certain spirits from the treasure trove are regarded as most important, and the majority claim to have a connection to them. Initially, the possession rituals mostly follow a recurrent pattern, but soon they usually turn into being wild, intense, emotionally charged, and quite unpredictable. The devotees dance fervently to the loud, suggestive, and exciting music with intense drumming. And they roll around on the floor, sometimes wriggling and slithering around as snakes, sometimes moving on the floor as if they were swimming. Sometimes they are screaming, shouting, crying, or laughing, and occasionally quarreling with the audience. Sometimes water is poured on them to cool them down.